Soft jazz hums in the background. The golden glow of fairy lights dances gently across the table. A fireplace crackles with slow warmth, and the smell of cinnamon and baked ham fills the air. Laughter drifts lightly through the room, floating just above the clinking of glasses. It's Christmas Day, and everything looks perfect. Too perfect. Stephanie stands beside me, her hand gently resting on my arm. Her mother raises a glass for a toast, her voice cheerful, rehearsed, like she's done it 100 times. Her father chuckles at a joke that's not that funny. Her brother Darren watches me a little too closely, his smile stretched a little too wide. I glance around the room, and suddenly I feel it. That strange quiet under the music, the kind you only notice when something's off. Something is coming. And I'm the only one in the room who knows exactly what. Stephanie doesn't say a word. She simply reaches across the table and slides a red envelope toward me, smooth, casual, like she's passing me a Christmas card. The room quiets. Even the fireplace seems to hold its breath. She smiles, but it's hollow. Her lips move, but her eyes don't follow. "Merry Christmas, Daniel." The way she says it, sweet on the outside, razor sharp beneath. I look at the envelope. Blood red, thick, official. My fingers hesitate for half a second, then I open it. Divorce papers. No warning, no conversation, no tears, just ink signatures and betrayal wrapped in glitter. Then I hear it, the sound I'll never forget, clapping. Her mother, her brother Darren, even her father chuckling behind his glass. They're clapping, as if this was all part of a surprise party, as if humiliating me on Christmas Day was their big finale. I don't speak. I don't flinch. I just look at her, and I smile back. At first, I thought I misheard it, but no. They were really doing it, clapping. Stephanie's mother clapped with both hands, and a glass of wine still dangling from her fingers. Her brother Darren leaned back in his chair, laughing, actually laughing, as if this moment had been rehearsed, like a bad sitcom. Even her father gave a small cheer, raising his drink like a toast at a wedding. They were all in on it. This wasn't just betrayal, it was performance. A public execution with Christmas lights and carols playing in the background. And still, I didn't cry. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't even blink. I just smiled. A quiet, calm, terrifying smile. Then, slowly, I reached under the tree and tapped a small silver-wrapped box with her name on it. Stephanie's eyes twitched. I met her gaze and said softly, "You should open yours too." Before the silence, before the red envelope, before the applause, there was Stephanie. We met in our junior year of college. I was the quiet one, nose in books, deadlines memorized, always sitting near the back row in lecture halls. She was the opposite. Stephanie had that kind of laugh that made heads turn. Bright eyes, a voice like music, and a smile that made the room feel less gray. She didn't walk, she arrived. People noticed her. But somehow, she noticed me. I still remember the first time we talked. It was in the campus library. I had my nose buried in a law textbook, civil litigation. She dropped a stack of psychology books across from me and said, "You always look like you're preparing to sue someone." I looked up, blinked, and said, "I am." She laughed, loudly, unapologetically. And just like that, she sat down, right there, like she belonged. Coffee dates followed, study sessions that turned into midnight walks, jokes whispered between bookshelves, notes left inside borrowed novels. Stephanie made the world feel warmer, more colorful. She taught me how to live outside outlines and schedules, and I thought I'd finally found home. After graduation, life started moving fast. I landed my first job at a mid-sized law firm. Stephanie got into grad school. We were both exhausted, barely making it through the week, but every Sunday we slowed down. We bought a small house just outside the city. It wasn't much. 2 bedrooms, creaky stairs, an overgrown backyard. But it was ours, and to us it was perfect. Every Sunday, we hosted brunch. Her parents would come over, her mother bringing too much food, her father falling asleep on our couch. Darren always came too, though I never invited him. He was loud, overconfident, and constantly trying to one-up me in conversation. But Stephanie loved it. She said it made the house feel alive. So I kept quiet and smiled. I worked late hours to cover tuition for her grad school. I handled the bills. I even put her name on the deed to the house, because that's what you do when you believe in forever. I remember watching her read in the sunroom, legs tucked under her coffee in hand, and thinking, this is it. This is the life I wanted. But sometimes, even a dream can start to crack, and you don't notice it until it's already broken. It started with silence, not the peaceful kind, the heavy kind, the kind that fills the space between two people who used to talk about everything. Stephanie stopped texting me during the day. Or maybe she just chose not to reply. I'd walk into the room and she'd lock her phone instantly. Conversations abruptly ending. Her laugh suddenly gone. Then came the password. One day, I reached for her phone to check a photo we took at brunch. It asked for a code. She'd never had one before. "Oh, it's just for security," she said with a shrug. But I'm a lawyer, and I know what people say when they're hiding something. More girls' nights out, more don't wait up, more perfume that didn't smell like the ones I bought her. And then there was Darren. He started showing up more. He stayed longer. He made jokes about Stephanie that were just a little too personal. One time I caught them whispering in the kitchen. They stopped when I walked in. Both smiled forced, too quick, like actors missing their cue. And that's when it hit me. A lawyer doesn't accuse, he investigates. I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I didn't demand an explanation. I just watched. I watched the way she locked her phone when I entered the room, the way she tilted her screen away, the way Darren's name started popping up on her call log at strange hours. I didn't accuse. I took notes. Then I hired a private investigator. Not the dramatic kind from TV, just a quiet man with a quiet camera and a habit of getting the truth without being seen. I opened a secondary bank account, one she didn't know about. Moved small amounts. Created a paper trail for myself. I installed a GPS tracker under her car, synced it to my phone. Every Thursday night, same hotel, room 6112. Every time. I stopped sleeping, but not because of heartbreak, because I was building a case. While she was out laughing, I was listening. While she was sneaking around, I was documenting. She thought I was distracted. She thought I was distant. She thought she was winning. But I wasn't pulling away. I was preparing. The first thing that came in was a receipt, a hotel bill, 2 guests, 1 night, paid with our joint account. Then came the photos. Stephanie, Darren, holding hands in the hotel parking lot, his arm around her waist, her head resting on his shoulder. They looked comfortable, not sneaking, not ashamed, like this wasn't a mistake, like it had been going on for a while. The investigator sent me timestamps, locations, entry logs, Thursday nights, always the same. I opened the GPS tracker, mapped every movement. They left her work, together, in the same car, same hotel, room 612, every time. I didn't scream, I didn't shake, I just sat in the dark and stared at the screen, over and over again, until facts replaced feelings. I knew what I had to do. Not scream, not confront. Protect. First, the house. I transferred the deed into my sister's name. Legally, she owned it now. Stephanie didn't notice, didn't ask. Next, the will. I rewrote everything. Removed her, added my niece and nephew. Then came the trust. I moved our savings quietly into a private family trust. She didn't see a thing. She still smiled at me across the dinner table, still kissed my cheek before bed. She had no idea she was signing herself out of everything. I printed the documents, packaged them as tax updates, told her we needed to submit by the quarter. She signed them while watching Netflix, didn't even read the first line. Line by line, signature by signature, Stephanie erased herself from my life with her own hand, and I didn't stop her because this wasn't revenge. This was escape, planned, legal, untraceable. I didn't flinch, didn't shout, didn't even raise an eyebrow. I just reached slowly and tapped the small silver-wrapped box under the Christmas tree. It had one name on it, Stephanie. She looked at it, then at me, confused, curious. I nodded once, calm and sharp. "Why don't you open yours?" The room shifted. The air changed. Even the fire seemed quieter. Stephanie laughed, light and fake. A performance. She bent down, picked up the box with both hands. It rattled just slightly. She looked at her family, then back at me, still smiling. But her fingers, they trembled, because something inside her already knew this wasn't a gift. It was a reckoning. She opened the box, slowly, carefully, like something inside might bite. And in a way it would. Inside, a thick stack of hotel receipts, printouts of bank transfers, itemized spending reports, photos, dozens of them. Stephanie, Darren, together, too close, too often. At the bottom, a flash drive. She hesitated, then plugged it in. And the room broke. Her mother gasped. Her father choked on his whiskey. Darren stood up too fast. Stephanie's hands trembled. The screen lit up. A GPS map. Pings of her car every Thursday night. Surveillance footage. Her and Darren entering the same hotel, room 612, over and over again. Then the emails, deleted ones, recovered. Every lie, every secret, every careless message they thought was gone, now staring back at them on a 13-inch screen. No one said a word. No one could. I stood up. No yelling, no emotion, just clarity. I looked at Stephanie, still holding the USB, still shaking, and I said calmly, "You handed me divorce papers. I'll file tomorrow on grounds of adultery." She blinked, tried to speak. Nothing came out. I turned to Darren. "Hope your boss likes the embezzlement report." His eyes widened. Stephanie gasped. I continued, "You used company funds for those hotel stays. That's fraud. I already mailed everything anonymously. No threats, no shouting, just facts. And consequences." I took a slow breath and said one last thing to no one in particular, but loud enough for all to hear. This wasn't about revenge. It was about truth. Stephanie sat down, hard, like her knees gave out. Her face went pale, the kind of pale that drains all the way to the lips. She didn't speak, didn't blink. Tears started falling, but no one moved. Not her mother, not her father, not Darren. They just watched. The same people who clapped moments ago, now frozen, confused, ashamed. No one rushed to comfort her. No one held her hand. The woman who once controlled the room now sat in it completely alone. I turned to her, not angry, not cruel, just done. "Check the deed," I said. "You don't own this house anymore." Stephanie looked up, eyes wide, breathing shaky. "You signed away your rights months ago. I just made sure you didn't read the fine print." Her lips parted, no sound came out. She reached for her purse, like the answers might be inside. I kept going. The savings account moved into a family trust. The firm's assets, you signed them away too. I didn't raise my voice, I didn't gloat, but for the first time she saw me. Not the quiet husband, not the one who stayed home while she played games. She saw the man who watched, planned, executed. I walked to the coat rack, took my time, slipped my arms through the sleeves. Silence still filled the room. Stephanie didn't speak. No one did. I turned back one last time, looked at her, the woman I once loved. "You'll need a place to stay," I said. "Maybe with your mom." She didn't reply. Her eyes were red, her hands still shaking. I nodded politely, then turned to the door. I paused just for a breath, then said softly, "Merry Christmas," and I left. No shouting, no second thoughts. Just the cold winter air and a man who finally chose peace. I closed the door behind me. The soft click echoed louder than the chaos I left behind. Outside, snow fell, slow, steady, like the sky was exhaling for me. I sat behind the wheel, didn't start the engine. I just breathed. Not out of exhaustion, not out of sadness, but out of something I hadn't felt in a long time. Freedom, real freedom, the kind you earn, the kind that costs you everything but gives you yourself back. No more pretending, no more watching her lie, no more noise, just me and silence. And snow. 10 years. A decade of Sunday brunches, holiday photos, late-night study sessions, shared bills, shared dreams. I gave everything. Time, money, trust. She gave a performance. I thought I was building a home, but I was just setting the stage for someone else's act. Still, I don't hate her, because hate takes energy, and right now I have none left to give. But I'm not broken. I'm not bitter. I'm just awake. And once you wake up, really wake up, you can't go back to sleep. I never raised my voice, never cursed her name, never told the world what she did. I didn't need to, because the truth did all the talking. They saw the receipts, the emails, the photos. They heard the silence that followed. I didn't destroy her. She did that herself. I just stopped protecting the image she never deserved. This was never about revenge. I didn't want to win. I wanted to walk away with my dignity intact. And now that I have, I don't need applause. I don't need pity. I just need the question to hang in the air. What would you have done if you were me? Betrayal doesn't always wear one face. Sometimes it wears a room full of smiles. It wasn't just Stephanie. It was her mother raising a glass while handing me a lie. Her father laughing like none of it mattered. And Darren, the man who should have been family but chose to be something else entirely. No one stopped it. No one questioned it. No one cared that I was being humiliated in real time. Because sometimes betrayal doesn't shout. It claps. It winks. It pours another drink and pretends not to see. What I went through wasn't just about a cheating wife. It was about a system, a silent agreement, a culture of cowardice wrapped in fake cheer. And the worst part? They all thought I wouldn't notice. They clapped. When she handed me the divorce papers, they clapped. As if pain was entertainment, as if betrayal was a party trick. But here's the thing about people who cheer too soon. They always forget what comes next. Because when the truth walked in with photos, receipts, and silence, those same hands went still. That applause, it wasn't power, it wasn't pride. It was the soundtrack to their own destruction. They weren't laughing at me. They were laughing at the last illusion they had left before it burned. And in the end, they didn't just humiliate me. They humiliated themselves. They called me quiet, polite, soft. And maybe I was. I didn't yell. I didn't beg. I didn't post anything online. I didn't fight fire with fire. I just watched, listened, prepared. And when the time came, I didn't explode. I simply ended it. So now I ask you, is silence weakness, or is it a warning? Are the quiet ones easy to overlook, or are they the ones you should fear most? Because some people scream when they're hurt, but others, they build, they gather, they act. And when they do, they don't need noise to change everything. So if you remember nothing else from this story, remember this. Never underestimate the quiet ones. They don't explode, they don't scream, they don't beg, they erase. They remove you from their heart, their house, their future, without noise, without warning. And when they walk away, they don't come back. Not all strength is loud. Not all silence is weakness. In a world where loud voices get all the attention, we forget that the quiet ones often hold the most power, not because they explode, but because they know how to walk away with dignity. Daniel's story reminds us, don't mistake silence for surrender. Don't confuse politeness with weakness. And never assume someone isn't paying attention just because they don't speak. Betrayal doesn't need drama to be exposed. Truth doesn't need a spotlight to shine. Because when the truth is ready, it stands on its own, and everything false eventually falls. If you believe that dignity is louder than drama and that stories rooted in truth deserve to be heard, you're in the right place. Hit subscribe to Through Her Eyes and turn on the bell for more real, emotional, unforgettable stories like this one. Share this video if you've ever been underestimated because of your silence. Let them know quiet people see everything.